Tesla's a tricky one, really. I look at Tesla a lot. Honestly, I sold a bunch of Tesla, all my Tesla stocks, because I just hate what Elon Musk did with Trump. I just hate that. He could have not got involved after the election. He could have just focused on Tesla, and I don't know why he didn't do that. I don't know why he's so obsessed. He's like a little bit anal when it comes to shit like that. And it's really bad behavior, really, for someone who's smart, isn't it? He just frustrates me a little bit. I'd rather just gamble on myself, TRVL, than Tesla. Yeah, emotions off. Yeah, maybe. Just be unemotional. Just focus on the business. What's he doing? No idea. I was look. So I had this Elliott Wave count higher time frame. Yeah, so I do look at it. I not anymore because I sold it all. Like, I'm just fed up with him. I made money, but I sold it all. You have this one, you have WXY here, which is like an ABC. You have this 3, corrective 4, and then we're probably looking at a 5 now. We're probably in the 5. Has it begun? That's the question. Has the 5 begun? I don't know, actually. I don't know if the 5 has begun. The last wave. It could have, or it maybe not. Maybe it hasn't. It's again, it's hindsight. It's hard to know if this has begun yet, or maybe we're still correcting. Yeah, it could have, because I can count 5 waves in this first move here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 waves in that first wave. There is a corrective ABC here. 1, 2, 3, but this doesn't work. Maybe it does. Probably not. Probably not, huh? We probably haven't started yet, to be honest with you. I'm just like, I am wondering if we haven't started. I am wondering, just looking at it now, if this whole thing is still a correction and we still want to go down. For a 5. This would be perfectly fine as well. This is the thing. Going all the way down here. The thing about these Elliott waves is that technically you can go all the way down to there and still be valid, and that's all the way down to $17. So there's a lot of room to go down and still have a really nice final pump. Right now we're in this kind of mid channels holding the price. You can see that. But I am also thinking to myself, you've got an A, B, C. And I don't know. It depends. I think it depends on crypto, because the other thing is, if crypto goes up, Tesla probably will go up because they have Bitcoin. It depends on Bitcoin. Yeah, there is a little bit of a link. And so you could end up with something slightly different, but you're still looking at something very similar. So possibly, let's just say the A was there. That was your ABC is there. Or we could be in a wave. Then that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if we're in a wave or in corrective. I can't tell. I just know that that was a really strong, powerful, impulsive move, wasn't it? And so was this. Up, correction, up, correction, up. Then it went sideways. Then it was up, correction, up, correction, up. Yeah. And here we're not really doing that. We're not really going up, up, up. We're just going sideways. So I do feel that we haven't really started here yet. Yeah, because when you look at how this began, it just went up, sideways, up, sideways, up. And here where it began, it was up, and then up. Yeah. And where is that? Where is that kind of up, up, up here? It's not really there, is it? It's kind of still going sideways, isn't it? And so in my mind, I'm just thinking maybe it's this, this, this. And that's where you get the impulse on a drop. And whatever happens, Tesla's just going to go kind of, whatever happens to the market, it could go up again to the all-time high. That would be a really, how much percentage is that from where we are now? It's still quite a high profit gain, like a 30% increase in value if it did go up, to then drop and come down for the last wave to complete this 1 2 3 4 5, and maybe that's it, and then you're in a bear market. And it doesn't have to be so strong. It could be like a week 5. And basically Tesla, it looks like it's gonna, it could feel like it's actually, then you're in a bear market and you're actually looking to go down much further down than people expect. And I think there's a lot of people who think there's going to be a major correction in the stock markets next year onwards, and possibly a longer correction, maybe possibly a 2-year correction, which is going to shake out a whole ton of people in the world, which would mean a lot of downward pressure here and a lot of people selling, and then you could actually end up coming to fill this volume gap. And no one knows if that's going to happen. No one can predict that. I think possibly it is also possible that we've had our 5th wave and that was it. There, that was it. Okay, 2 3 4 5, and actually we're now just in a corrective. You know, and we get a correction like that for an ABC, you know, like whatever, and we start putting volume lower down here, kind of maybe not as low as $26, because that's pretty low, huh? It's really low. But how low would you go from here to from this pivot low that was put in here? That's your pivot low, your all-time high. 50%, and $80, $80. Back test this bottom trend line. That would be really nice, sir. Like a real nice drop down to 80 and test this trend line and just hold that trend line as much as possible for a prolonged volume correction here. So it will look like it's just range bound, yeah, but actually we have had maybe we've had our 5th wave, and it's just like that. It's just finished when it hit the all-time high, and now it's just in a corrective mode. I think Tesla's struggled a lot fundamentally. It's lost a lot of positive market sentiment. There's a lot of competition in the EV market now, and people aren't too impressed with Elon Musk, especially in Europe, and lots of other factors, like they're burning for a shit ton of money. Don't know if they're as profitable as people have hoped. Everyone's waiting for the robots to come. Everyone's waiting for the autonomous cars to come. There's been delays on that. The Cybertruck was a failure. There's lots of issues with the fundamentals of the business. And so, whereas I was really bullish on Tesla before, I'm now kind of a little bit kind of cautious, just because it might just require time to sort its problems out. I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong. It could just pump and pump and pump. It could just ping up, go up and up, and, you know, it could just totally do that. And that's the thing, we just don't know. No one really knows. Yeah. And instead of this being that would just be a wave 1 actually, and see, until you invalidate, you take her that low, you almost have to assume it could be a wave 1, that this is could be a wave 1, and we're just in a corrective. And if that is true, then the correction, it's still corrective. This is like, that'll be a wave 1, like I drew before. I didn't draw it. I can't see a 5 here. That's the problem. It's really hard because you almost have to say that that was your 5 there. It's really shit. It's a really shit 5. And so I'm making assumptions here. That's the problem. I don't like to make assumptions. I like to count. Maybe that was your 1 for a, don't know. Shit. There's your 3. Maybe some, I don't know. It's hard. It's a tricky one because it's not, yeah. Oh, Solana's here. Nice to have you. I'm not 100%. Let's just say that was your wave 1. Then you're looking at a correction like that to go up. And then you're looking for a 3, and then you are going to go into higher prices. Yeah. So there's lots of considerations. I don't know. I'm not 100% on Tesla, and that's because I'm not 100%. I'm out because I'm very aware that it could go down just as much as up. Yeah. Even though I'm bullish on a higher time frame. So if you're on a higher time frame, you could just keep on accumulating, because on a higher time frame, I think it's more likely than not. Looking at the structure, it's more likely than not to go up. The momentum is clearly to the upside. But it doesn't mean you can't go down to go up and hit $80, or actually just take out that low and to go up. And then this whole thing becomes an ABC corrective. And actually you're looking to do something more like that, which would make more sense in the structure. You see the structure, and then timing wise is important too. So someone's ringing that phone. I've got another phone. It's just like, yeah, people ring and they don't understand that when you don't pick up, you're not interested. See, the 618 came to the pivot there. That's the 1.618. That puts us in February. March, February, March. March. So that this whole thing is corrective. Then we're just in a corrective pattern for a dip down to just to take the low. I think probably there would make sense. And so all you're trying to do now is just find, if this happens, where would be a good place to buy. Probably just, honestly, probably just to take that low at the 382, probably. And so I wouldn't necessarily think it would go much lower. It'd be something like this, bam, like the 382. Take out that low, SFP there. And then if that landed correctly on a massive fib time pivot like that, then that would be a really nice place to enter for a long. And it actually, if Tesla did go down to $70, it would be a crazy long. It would be a buy of an amazing buy, wouldn't it? And then you could see another kind of like a rally. But that might be then that would be it. And then you're in a bear market. So you'd still be in a bear market, because it depends on the 5, it depends on how that 5 plays out. And it actually, that 5 could just end up being a wave 1, and then you could actually just end up rallying and rallying and rallying. So maybe there is no bear market. Maybe, like, this is the thing, we don't know. No, everyone's talking about bear market. Maybe we're in a super cycle, like, who knows? Yeah. And so ideally what you're looking at is the possibilities. It would be a crazy dip if that happened, like it would be an incredible dip if that happened. Let me just kind of do the fib time again. October. You could just find support in October, beginning of October, to do that, and it doesn't have to go that low, and it could just be this first 382, this 236 at 178 for an October dip right there, and that's where you get a little pump to go to the all-time high again. You know, like, that's possible too. There's possibilities. Just to finish this final wave, assuming, I think the final wave hasn't happened. I'm just looking at the way the prices move historically. Usually when it moves, it just goes up and up and up. Here it hasn't really done that. It feels like this whole thing is sideways. So I am kind of, in my mind, I am thinking that we still have a down to go up, and usually that's where the impulsive move begins, from some kind of significant pivot low. In the context of fibs, it would be another test of 178. That would be your first fib to contend with, which is the 236. And if it lands in October or in the end of September or whatever, then that would be good timing, because that's a 1.618 on the fib time. And if you can take the liquidity from these lows, then that would be your entry. Does that make sense? That's kind of, this is probably the first place I'd be look to buy. That's also the, look, that's perfect. It's a golden pocket as well. Look at that. That's really the long, huh? That's like the real long, if you get that opportunity. Yeah, it's a value area low. Look at that. That's an amazing place to buy. If you get that opportunity, that is actually the right place to buy. At about somewhere between 185 and 173. And actually, you should do this if you have your charts. I mean, the entry would be a swing failure, but you could also put in a higher low. It's also good to front run these levels with an alert. Just put a line above that golden pocket, add an alert, open-ended alert, and it is Tesla long here. Look at, I wouldn't necessarily look at the reaction, to be honest with you. With stocks, you can just buy them, look at reaction, but buy. It's kind of what you're looking to do there. Once the price hits there, if you can catch that at the end of September for a real nice buy, then we could get a really nice reaction, and we could actually pump. I don't know how that pump would look like. But you'd be looking at 5 waves, and you'd probably be looking to take out the all-time high again, probably. So actually that makes perfect sense, because actually here you can see that would also possibly be some kind of the 1-to-1's a bit lower here, right at the value area low at 160. So there is an area here, there is a zone where I think will probably be a really good place to buy Tesla if you get that chance. It's all the way down to 160. Starting at 185, 86, all the way down to 160. I think this is it. This is your area, okay? And I think September would be the month. Wait for the if there's going to be a drop in September, then that would be probably, this would be the place. Ideally, I would say take out this pivot, but if Tesla wants to put in a higher low, then there's no pivot to take out. It puts in a higher low, but that would be the right place. Value area low, golden pocket. You've got the 236 on the higher time frame. Yeah, this is a really good area, actually. Set an alert, start at 185, 86, and then your buy zone is all the way down to 160. And hopefully, what usually happens is Tesla gaps down into that area, and then you just buy. Yeah, that's what I've noticed. I've noticed with Tesla, you'll wake up one day and it would have gapped down like 12% down into your area, and you can buy. That's when you buy. You don't even wait, you just buy. Yeah, and you're in your area. You're in your area of interest. And then maybe that is the correction over. And maybe this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This whole thing is an ABC, and this last one is an ABC. And then that whole thing becomes a WXY type situation like that. And that's your correction. And then you're looking for a wave 5 pump. Who knows how far that could go, but it would be quite an aggressive pump. And ideally you want it to possibly happen at the beginning of next year, I'm thinking. All the way up till April, which makes sense because the fib time here is March, maybe up till March, like that. That might make sense there. Maybe a January pullback or something, and then February, March, up. Maybe April it hovers, and then May, sell in May and go away type thing, scenario. So I'll keep an eye on this. This is quite interesting because I'm interested in Tesla as well. Yeah, I hope that helps, sir. I don't know if that helped, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then you get a nice pump, sell into the pump, all-time highs, whatever, and then wait for a prolonged corrective move, which would be after a pump like that, you're looking for a higher time frame correction, probably something like all the way down to $80. Can you imagine going from all-time highs, whatever, all the way down to 80? Yeah. RH is here.